A lot of guys did good things in here, but we know what's ahead here. Okay, we got a playoff team Friday, a playoff team Sunday.
All right, hold on a second. Right off the bat, you know what he's not doing? He's not holding a score sheet. You got to notice the differences, like how Malone was after a game and the way Adelman was. We're not looking at a score sheet. We're not going over the numbers. We're not judging you just based on the numbers. We're not doing that. We're just talking about what's ahead. Go ahead there, Dan.
So we have a big journey ahead of us. The great thing about tonight is you all stayed with it. Everybody stayed with it. Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, David.
Yeah, fellas.
All right, pause it for a second. That's the team trying to, hey, rah-rah for you.
Mm-hmm.
But he's like not having it. He's just like, okay, all right, all right.
Yeah, because he knows, like, this is a weird spot to be in.
Right.
Very weird spot to be in, and I'm damn sure not going to celebrate my buddy who gave me this opportunity.
Correct.
Getting fired.
You know what he's doing there, dude? He's not making it about him, is he?
No.
It's not about him. Keep going, Dan. Pause for a second. Also, I'm sorry to be annoying, Liz. Look how happy they are for him, though. That tells you something, right? I think that's genuine. Like, he's been there for years. They've heard his voice 10 million times. All right.
I'll tell you this, though, being in situations similar to that, and I'm certainly not implying that they don't love David Adelman.
Mm-hmm.
But being in situations like that, it is really hard, unless you've got the most dysfunctional room in the history of mankind, to not rally the troops.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who the man is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it was Jalen Pickett up there and they were celebrating Jalen Pickett, right? Whoever's up there in a moment like that, this is a rally the troops moment.
All right, keep going, Dan.
Hey, by the way, I've been here all year, so I didn't just show up, so I appreciate that you finally noticed I was here. Hey, but I really mean this. No DPOG, none of that. DeMar, Zach.
Stop for a second. This is a big deal. No DPOG, none of that chain stuff. You know, the DPOG was kind of a hokey, funny little
college deal,
little plastic sort of thing, and then they kind of upgraded it to like really fancy and whatever. The whole presentation of the DPOG, in all honesty, Tyler, got a little cringy.
What's the difference between that and the big hat for the Avs?
Oh, well, I'll tell you this. I think the big hat for the Avs is pushing it at this point. I'm not going to lie. It's, there's a little, it's cool. It's fine. I think it can go away after this year. It's all good. And I'm telling you, players in general have to be pushed specifically by Cale Makar. Cale Makar is the big hat police in that locker room. But it's even that, Tyler, is getting a little like, yeah, okay.
Yep.
All right. Sometimes these things just they don't play all the small things at Avs games anymore. Yeah, everything has its sort of time, right? So they got rid of that. Keep going, Dan.
Unbelievable job. Zach got hot. I think they only had 49 points combined. They have been terrorizing people across the league. And that was great effort. Great effort. And the number one thing I'm proud of tonight is you guys communicating with one another in the timeouts throughout the game. You don't always need us, okay? You take responsibility for what you feel out there, what you see, okay? We talk to each other the right way. We move on.
Stop.
All right?
This is the biggest part. You're a mature team. You're a championship team. I don't need to be the loudest voice out there. We collectively as coaches don't need to be the loudest voice. You guys can do this, and you need to circle the wagons around yourself more than anything. That doesn't work with younger teams, I don't think, Tyler, but it does work with a more veteran team.
Well, it's easy when you got Nikola Jokic in there taking over the timeouts. I mean, there were a couple timeouts I was watching. I'm like, what's David Adelman going to do? What's the point of even being there?
Sometimes
Nikola Jokic has got the whiteboard. Nikola Jokic is talking. Nikola Jokic is leading the charge. David Adelman's got his head literally facing the ground, like just waiting for Jokic to be done.
Do you know Bill Russell won championships as a player coach? That happened. Player coach Bill Russell won championships like that. Crazy. Sometimes teams just need to. You can overcoach. It can be too much. And we've talked about it a million times. If you're always yelling, if everything is the same, way up here all the time, then what's the difference? It's like the boy who cried wolf. I mean, you can't tell the difference after a while. Last part. Go ahead, Dan.
Bring it in. Need something new. CB, go ahead.
Come on, fellas. Nuggets on 3, 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Malone would always bring him in and have them say family. He would bring him in. Family on 3, 1, 2, 3, family. What did Adelman do there? Something new. CB, what do you got? You know what I'm saying? You can see what his approach is going to be. Hey, you guys, it's your team. It's pretty clear that at least from that perspective and those differences, it shows you maybe what wasn't going on, what Adelman at least, or there's a prevailing thought like, hey, man, we got to just let these guys be their own guys and we'll see what happens instead of just, and that was in the article too, that the players were just over Malone being on top of him every 5 seconds.
Well, to me, it's not so much about taking shots at Malone. To me, it's not so much about Malone was doing things wrong. Defensive player of the game was stupid, this, that, family on three. There's nothing wrong with any of that. Absolutely nothing wrong with any of it. They're motivational tactics that you used. But what David Adelman is doing that is smart, and I don't think it has anything to do with Malone. I think what he's doing is smart. I'm not coming in trying to be the big dog.
Right.
And I've been in those environments, where the guy comes in, they got something to prove, they're trying to be the big dog.
Right.
Just come in and be a part of it, right? Because if you do anything else, you're disrespecting the heritage of what brought you here. But you can start something new without disrespecting the past. And I think he's got to be very careful with that because there's going to be players that are very loyal to Michael Malone.
I think Michael Malone's style is who he is, and there's no other way for him to be. I think if Michael Malone goes and gets the job with the San Antonio Spurs that I think he has a very good shot at, with a young team that needs a little bit maybe more discipline and a tougher hand, I think the San Antonio Spurs could turn around very quickly. Watching Celtic City, again, I know I'm going back here, but they tuned out this guy, Bill Fitch, who you might not have heard of. They replaced him with a more friendly, relaxed guy, Casey Jones, like Adelman. They won 2 more championships in the prime of Bird's years. They made tough decisions with a coach who had already won a championship, and the comparisons between Bird and Jokic, I think, are you're crazy if you don't see their similarities. Whatever they do at coach, if it's not Adelman, I think it's got to be somebody along those same lines, at least, that would handle things like he's handling it. I'm not saying it has to be him, but I think it has to go in that direction. And I don't think Malone was capable of backing off who he is, nor do I think it's bad coaching. I think in the right circumstances, like I just said, I think he'd go down to San Antonio or say Cooper Flagg gets on Utah or whatever, and I think Michael Malone would be a huge success. And you know what? It's probably exactly what the Nuggets needed when he came into play. It's exactly what they needed. They just need something different now. That's all. And 10 years is a long damn time. How this works, Tyler? I don't know, man. Who knows? Do you think you have a grip as to how this is going to go?
No, it's easy to get caught up in the moment and be like, oh, that was fantastic. Here we go. We got a chance of winning the championship again. I have no idea.
I don't either.
You still got the same injury concerns. You still got the same rotation concerns. Nothing's really changed other than they did beat a pretty hot Kings team.
They did, and a team that needed to win, and they beat them on the road, and it just looked and felt better.